Hi guys, welcome to DaVinci Resolve 15. Of course, the first thing you want to do is to download this free video editing program and install it on your computer. To get DaVinci Resolve 15, you have to go to blackmagicdesign.com products/DaVinci Resolve. I put this link within your resources for this lecture. You can just click on it and get there. Now, when this video finishes playing, you will have the download button here. And of course, if you like, you can go through this page to see exactly what DaVinci Resolve 15 has to offer. It became quite a powerful program by adding the fusion effects and I would say the motion graphics if you like. From the button over here, you can click on download and you have two options. You can download the DaVinci Resolve 15, the free copy. It's fully functional, or you can download the DaVinci Resolve 15 Studio. The Studio version is mainly directed towards multi-user collaboration. You have a big office, you have many editors, colorists, and stories like this. And also it has certain very powerful effects that are enabled. This course will be based on the free copy of DaVinci Resolve 15 because we can all afford this one. So you can choose your operating system here. For example, I can choose Windows, fill all your information, register, and download. And of course, you want to unpack and install. Please, when you're installing, it will ask you for certain options. Check all of them. Make sure that everything is very well installed. I hope, guys, you installed DaVinci Resolve 15 without any problem. Now, you will have here two icons. The Resolve, that's the program itself, and the DaVinci Resolve project server. This is directed towards multi-user. So the program that you want to start is Resolve. Let's double-click on it. This is the startup panel for DaVinci Resolve 15. For now, I would like you to create a simple project. So you have the option to use the untitled project. You can just double click on it, or to create a new project. Let's use a new project here. It's a bit nicer. And then you give it a name. For example, I'll give it Jumpstart. And you click on Create. So now it's going to jump directly to the edit page of DaVinci Resolve 15. Now, you have created your first project. This is the title here, Jumpstart. And you can see the title over here, Jumpstart. I want to give you an overview of how you would work in DaVinci Resolve 15. Actually, it's extremely organized. You notice over here, you have the workspaces. I prefer to call them pages. You have the media page, edit, fusion, color, fairlight, and deliver. You will start with the media page. This is where you populate your media pool, meaning you browse through your footage and drop it in the media pool. When you're happy with your media pool, you go to your edit page where you do all the editing. Notice that in this page, you have everything you need to do complete editing. Notice how the tabs over here are directed towards editing. Then you move on to the Fusion page, if you want to, of course. The Fusion page is where you will add visual effects, motion graphics, add some graphics. You have 3Ds and stories like this. It's very interesting. Now, sometimes it's not necessary to use the Fusion page because you don't want to add some visual effects or you don't want to do any motion. The next page is the color correction page. This is what DaVinci Resolve is very famous for. In this page, you will do all the color correction. Everything you need is just over here. And notice how the tabs over here have changed according to the page. If you have lots of audio editing, you're doing a great mixing, you're working on a movie, then the Fairlight is designed for you to do the audio editing. And of course, lastly is the deliver page. This is where you are going to deliver all the editing that you have done and create a video according to your needs. So in the next lecture, we are going to start with the first page. That is the media page, and we are going to populate the media pool. In this lecture, guys, you are going to populate your media pool ready to start editing in the next lecture. How do you do that? To import media inside a project, you go to the media page. That's what the media page is for. Now, by the way, you have this bar here, this white bar. and you can remove it. You come to workspace, click on it, and you go to full screen. Now it's much better, just the menu on top. Now to populate the media, I would like to use the media storage over here. If you click on it, you de-highlight it, it disappears. You click on it again, it will appear. You have here the list of your drives and one drive that is mapped. Now, I would like you to navigate to where you have downloaded and unzipped your files from the previous lecture. For me, it's under the data drive. Click to twirl down on the arrow. Then it's inside DaVinci Resolve. I can even twirl down more on clicking on the arrow. And I have here media files and project. We focus on the media files. Let's twirl it down again. And you notice I have several folders here. Each one of them contains a certain video and one of them some music. You can select, for example, the assignment folder. This will be your assignment. And you can see all the videos over here. You know, just if you scrub through, you can see them in the preview over here. Okay, this is dynamic preview. And you can look at all your files. Fine. Now, you could, for example, select your videos, click and drag, and drop them inside the media pool. It will ask you if you want to change the frame rate. Please select change. Okay, that's better because we want to use the frame rate of the videos. Now, if you come back to the edit page, you will notice now in your media pool, you can see the videos over here. This is your media pool off. You don't see it. Now it's on, it appears. Now you can click and drag and start editing. But you notice they are very disorganized. We don't know which one is for which. Okay, let's organize them. I'll select from the media pool and press delete. So it will remove them from the media pool, not from your hard disk. How about if we can organize them in our project with the same structure, assignment, more stuff, and stories like this? You can select a folder, but if you drop it directly in the media pool, then it will put the videos here and not the folder. Now you notice here, there is master. This is the master bin or the master folder, the top one. And inside it, you can create more bins or more folders. So it will be very interesting if you can select your folders, click and drag and drop them over here. Better yet, you can click on the media file. You can come over here, select it from here or select it from here. I will select it from here and drop it inside your master. Here you are. Now that's very interesting because it has kept the same structure that you have for your folders here under media files. Now it's pretty neat. And then every folder contains its own videos and you know what you're doing. Now you might say, oh, but I can't see them all. I don't know what's inside. Well, that's very easy. Select the top one and shift select the last one. And Resolve will just show you all of them here. And this is very practical. If you go to the edit page now it notice it's very practical to start working. Or if you want to focus, for example, on startup, you will have your files here, your video files, and you can start editing. So actually, using the method of click and drag the folders under master will give you a very organized way to import your media. In the next lecture, we'll go to the edit page, use startup, and start editing. In this lecture, I want you to start video editing in Resolve. If you know about video editing, then you will have the chance to see how it happens in Resolve. If you don't know anything about video editing, then this is your perfect startup in creating a short movie. In the previous lecture, we decided to use the clips inside the startup. But let's arrange a bit our view here. This is lots of empty space. To reduce the media pool, remember this is your media pool, you can come to the icon here. It's an up arrow with a rectangle. You click on it. And you notice the size has been removed, and whatever was down, this is the timeline where you're going to do the editing, has been stretched to the leftmost. Also here you have the list of bins. So we know we are in the startup. You can see it here. So maybe you can click on this button over here, bin list. The list disappears and it appears. Let's make it disappear. You can also make your videos a bit bigger. Okay, that will be cool. And then over here on the double arrows, you can sort them by anything you like that is listed here. I will sort them by file name. Please do the same. It will be easy to reference to the clips. If you point to a clip, you will notice that you can just move your mouse over the clip and you can preview it in the source monitor. If this scrubbing is not happening with you, come to the 3 points over here and make sure that live media preview is checked. Okay, and then you get this effect here. Now, to start editing and placing your clips in the timeline, of course, you need to create a timeline. I'll show you the most traditional way of creating a timeline first. You can come to File, and you have here the third option is a New Timeline. Or you can use the shortcut Ctrl-N or Command-N on the Mac. I will just select this option. So this is the panel of a new timeline. It has a start time code. Let's leave it alone now. You can give it a name. Of course, don't leave it on timeline 1. Let's call it first movie. And then the number of video tracks. We need only one video track for now, and audio track also one. Let's keep the audio track to stereo. And of course, it's an empty timeline. We didn't choose anything at all. Then you click on Create. Here you are. A first movie timeline has been created for you, and it's totally empty. It has video 1 and audio 1. These are the tracks. Now, before we start editing, first of all, I would like you to make sure that the auto select here, this button is called auto select. Make sure they are both highlighted on the audio and the video. In fact, always make sure they are highlighted. So this is not highlighted. This is highlighted. Also for your audio, make sure it's highlighted. Then you have your editing tools all over here for the timeline. Make sure that the snapping is on. So this is snapping, the shortcut is N. This is off, this is on. And surely make sure that the ring selection is on. Now we're going to start adding clips to the timeline and creating our movie. But how do you edit the clips? Okay, this is how we're going to do it. First, we're going to bring the clip into the source monitor. Remember, I already mentioned this is the source monitor where you view the original clips. Then we are going to set an in point and out point or mark the clip. Actually, in DaVinci, it will be mark in and mark out. And then when we are happy for the selection that you have taken from the clip, we can drop it in the timeline. We see several ways. So let's start doing that. I will take the first clip over here. If I wanted to open in the source monitor, I will just double click on it and it's just over here now. Now you can use the controls over here. You have this small indicator just here. You can click on it and scrub through and you can see your clip. As you can see, it's very easy. Another way to scrub, which is better than holding this small indicator here, is to click here and move left or right. Of course, you can play your clip forward. You can play it backward, you can stop, and you can go to the beginning and to the end, and you can press spacebar for the clip to play. So now we need to decide where this clip is going to start and where it's going to end, the portion that we want to use, and then drop it in the timeline. So let's scrub through. I will scrub through and decide, okay, maybe it should start when the guy is jumping just from here. It's a bit sensitive. I can't get it using the mouth. For that, you can use for now the left and right arrow. Left arrow will take you backward, right arrow will take you forward. So you just set the frame where you want the clip to start. Then you want to mark the in or to set the in point. Well, one way to do it is to come to this mark in over here and click. Notice now you have an in point over here. Well, actually it goes like this. In point is on the left, out point is on the right, of course, beginning and end. We can scrub through more and decide where it's gonna stop. We don't need the whole clip. So let's say we stop it just over here, something like this, okay? So you need to mark the out point now. So you can come over and click on this mark out. It will mark the out point. If you press spacebar, it will play the whole clip. That's not really what we want. We want to play only between the in and out point. For this, use the shortcut Alt or Option on the Mac and the /. Here you are. So it will play from the in point to the out point. So now we have determined our clip. We need to take this clip and drop it in the timeline. There are several ways to do that. First of all, you notice these two icons here. This is video only, this is audio only. Now, the best way to do this is to click and drag. And you notice you can drop it in the timeline anywhere you want. That's one way to do it, by the way. In our case here, we don't need the audio. The audio is totally useless here, just the guy making noise. What we need is only the video. So what you can do is click on the video and drag only the video, and you notice what's happening in the timeline. Only the video has been added. So of course you can position it anywhere you want, but I'm gonna snap it just in the beginning. Here you are. Now notice what happened over here. On the right, you have the program monitor or the timeline monitor. You notice you have first movie here, and this is the timeline monitor. It has exactly the same controls as the source monitor. You can play, and notice it's playing inside your timeline. And you can play backward if you like. But also, you can hold the playhead over here and scrub through just like this. Okay, and that is something that we will do very often. Fine. So I'm gonna take the playhead and put it at the end. Here you are. So the guy is dropping here. Let's go to the next shot and do in and out point also. I would double click on it to open it in the source monitor. And then I'm gonna scrub through to decide where it's gonna start. So let's say the guy is jumping, and we are going to start just from over here. Okay, notice it's pretty nice. Since this is the last frame of our previous clip, so we can start from here. It's quite nice. So you can use the icons here to click and mark the in point. But usually what we do, we use the eye for in point. So I press on the eye, it creates an in point, and then the guy runs, and he comes out. Okay, we're not gonna show him falling, just like this. And I press O instead of clicking on the mark out to create the out point. I can press Alt or Option on the Mac and / to play in between the I and O. Cool, I'm happy from that. So what I can do is to click on my video and go back to the timeline. But you notice in the timeline I could do some mistakes and overwrite the previous clip. What will be nicer is to click and drag on the video and come to the program monitor over here. Notice you have some nice pop-up here. It's insert, overwrite, replace, stories like this. And one of them is append at end. And I like this very much. If you crop, here you are. It has appended it at the end of the timeline. Now let's go backward. Okay, for that you can use home if you like. Spacebar to play. Let's look at our two clips. Not bad at all. It's working very much with us. So now it becomes a bit repetitive work because it's very easy to do that. Let's go to the next clip. For example, this one. I will double click to open it over here. I'm into the habit of clicking this small rectangle. I like it. So you can do the same or use the other one. Here you are. I wanted to start just from here, energetic. I'm going to press I for in point. Now I will click on the indicator and just move forward here and decide exactly where it's going to stop. For example, let's stop it just over here. So that is O. I press O to put the in point. Now you want to view it, so it's Alt or Option on the Mac and / You're viewing between the in and out point. Cool. So I like it. So I click and go to append at end. This is how I like working. You can just drop it in the timeline if you like. Now the advantage here, it takes the player to the end of the clip. So I can have here the last frame of the previous clip because I want to add a new one now. So let's say this new one, we start from here. You can browse through the clip and so on. Guys are climbing. I mean, this is cool from here. I for in point. Go forward. Here you are. O for out point. Very happy. Click on it. Drag it. Append to end. And here you are. We're starting to work. Now here I have two clips. One of them is just normal. I press spacebar. It has normal speed. And the other one, I double click to bring it here. It's slow motion. So I want to put the normal one first, then the slow motion. So let's decide where the normal one is gonna, start. I'll just put it over here. Yep, this is interesting. I'll put the in point. Then I'm gonna use the right cursor to move to the right, and just from here, okay, I'm gonna put the out point. So it's a very small portion. Click and drag and append at end. Cool, I can see it here. Double click on the slow motion one, then come over and decide. You notice how the guy is his position from here. So I'm gonna take it just over here, similar. I for in point, move towards it. Now you can cut it anywhere you want. I'm gonna cut it just over here. I like it. Then you go to the video here. You notice here there is no video and audio. That's because this clip doesn't have an audio. You notice the other side, a small icon that says there is audio. So this one, just click and drag, append to the end. Cool. Let's press home to go to the beginning. Press space bar, and here you are. You can view your video. It's pretty cool. So actually, it's pretty easy to edit in DaVinci Resolve. I like it very much, in fact, and you can get some very good work done very easily. Now, if you would like to see only the program monitor, just over here, you have this small square here. You can press on it and shows only one monitor. It's no more, two monitors, just one monitor, and depends what you are viewing, the timeline or a clip. It show you both. Okay guys, so you have achieved your first video editing. It was very easy. In summary, you bring a clip inside the source monitor, and then you put the in and out point using mark in, mark out, I and O, and then take it and drop it in the program monitor using append to end if you like to. In the previous lecture, guys, you created this rough cut. Of course, you need to refine the edits. And in the next section, you will learn very many editing techniques that will allow you to make this editing over here very precise. For now, let's have fun. Let's add some music and see how we can deal with the audio, just to get you very familiar with Resolve 15. Let's go to our list here, if you remember, and you have a bin called Music. Click on it, and you have here a music clip. If you hover, then you can see the sound waves. Here you are. And if you double click, you can practically edit it as in point and out point and decide exactly which portion you want to have. Cool. Let's look at the waveforms here. On top over here, you have the whole clip, if you like. Just like this, you can scrub through and decide what you want to use. And then on the bottom here, the two bottoms is the left channel and the right channel. This, of course, is stereo. You hear from both channels. For this audio clip, let's go to the beginning, for example. And you notice that it starts with some blank over here. And of course, you can play it, you can hear it. If the sound that you're hearing is too loud, you can come over to this speaker over here and reduce the volume. You're reducing the volume of what you are hearing. You are not reducing the volume of the clip. So for me now, I just can put it in the middle here. It's okay for me. And of course, you can go to the beginning and press play to hear the music and decide, okay, where do you want to start? Of course, you can play it backward if you like to, or go to the beginning to the end. It's pretty amusing, by the way. Let's go to the beginning, and I want to scrub through and see exactly where I can start the music. Notice here there is a break. You can use it from over here if you like to. Let's add an in point. I press I, and then I will not add an out point because I don't know how long I need the music. I'm gonna just click and drop it inside the timeline. Now notice it's going on the audio, of course. Here you are. You can drop it over here. Now you can see the waveforms. If you can't see them, there is a nice button here. If you click on it, it says Timeline View Options. And here you have to switch it on to see the audio waveforms. This is off. You don't see them. This is on. You can see the audio waveforms. So our music is very long. So let's cut it. You can come over to the end and use, for example, the blade tool. Take the blade tool, just come over here and just click to cut it. Then you go to your selection tool, select the part that you don't want, and press backspace, and here you are, it's gone. Now, we have a lot of space here and we are using very little of it. You can zoom in and out. The keyboard way is to press Ctrl or Command on the Mac and press the plus sign on your main keyboard, not on the numeric pad. And minus, it will zoom out. So zoom in with the plus sign, with the Ctrl or Command held down, and the minus sign. But now, if you want to expand it so you can have the maximum view here, it's called Zoom to Fit. You can use the shortcut Shift Z on both Mac and Windows, and it will zoom in as much as possible to cover all your clips within the view of the timeline. So now you can go back to the beginning and listen to the music. Now, most probably it's very high, of course, because they give you the music that's very high, and then you have to adjust the volume the way you would like. To lower the volume, you can come to this thin bar over here. Notice when I point on the bar, the mouse pointer will become two arrows, one up and down. It means you can lower the volume or increase the volume. Okay? A negative value will tell you how much you have decreased, not the volume level. So now we are decreasing by 6, for example. That's very fine, you decreased it. But then if you don't like playing with this bar, I will introduce you to the inspector. You select your clip and you go to the inspector tab over here. If you click on it, it will open the inspector. Since you have selected your audio clip, it's going to deal with the audio. Select another clip, for example, it's going to deal with the video over here. Let's go to the audio, and then you notice the volume is over here. You can reset it. Okay, that's an easy way to reset, and you can decrease the volume or increase it the way you would like. I will decrease it just something like this. Okay, in fact, I can't hear it. I don't have my headphones, but you can decide what volume you want for your clip. Now, make sure this is almost in the middle, and you can play and decide if this volume is good enough for your video clip. Cool. I will stop pressing spacebar. You can also play with the clip pitch. You have a small equalizer here. I recommend you come and play with it and see exactly what happens. It's about fun. We don't want to be serious for now. We'll do some serious work later on. So we added the music. In the next lecture, what I would like to introduce you to is transitions. We are going to add transitions to the video and to the audio and see exactly how to work with. Let's have a bit of fun with the transitions. I will show you how to add transitions to your clip. I'm not going to develop on the whole subject because it's a big one. I will just show you how to add the easiest way. So what are the transitions in Resolve 15? If you come over here, you have the media pool, remember? Next to it, there is the FX library. If you click on it, it will open your toolbox and some effects later on we will see. If your toolbox is not twirled down, just twirl it down like this, and you can see video transition, audio transition, titles we see later, and some generators. Very easy to use. Now you notice it starts with the dissolve transitions. These are the most commonly used, but you have others that you can try. Of course, some of them are very hard on your system if you don't have high memory, but we can stick to the dissolve over here. You notice that the cross dissolve has a red tag here. It means this is the standard transition. If you right click here, you will notice there is set as standard transition. If you take the blur, right click, you can set it as the standard one. Okay, let's go back to cross dissolve and set it as standard. So how do we add a transition? Well, the easiest way to add the standard transition is to come to the edit point. Okay, so the beginning of the clip is the edit point. And then you can right click, and it will ask you how many frames you want to add the standard transition. In our case, is the cross dissolve. Let's choose, for example, 25 frames. This is almost 1 second for us. And if you play your clip now, your transition is done, as easy as this. Okay, let's play it again. Now, you might be wondering about this blue line here that has appeared. Don't worry about it. Later on, I will show you how to optimize and get this blue line all over. So now we added a transition in the beginning. Let's say you want to add a transition at the end. As simple as this, you would come over to the edit point just near it, right click, it just ask you how many frames you want. You click on 25, 30, whatever you like. So you add the transitions using the right click near the edit point. But let's say you want to change transitions, you want to play around, this is not what you like. You don't want the standard one. Well, you can select your transition and notice the inspector here, you can open it. There are now settings for the transition that you have added. These are the standard settings for any transition. Its duration, the number of frames. You notice you can increase the duration or decrease it, of course. I'm going to put 1 again. You can decide by number of frames. You can decide its alignment. In this case, we are at the beginning of the clip, so it starts on the edit, of course. You can also change the video transition style just from here. It's so easy. You don't have to click and drag and do things. Now, the bottom one is about the cross dissolve. So notice here you have cross dissolve, and these are the settings for the cross dissolve. If you change, you go, for example, to center wipe, then the settings here will change according to the transition that you have selected. I'll go back to cross dissolve, and you can use several styles. Come and play with them. They are very easy to use, and it's fun. If things go wrong, you can care less. You select your transition over here and press backspace, and it's gone. Now you can add a new one. Here you are. Now let's say you want to add a transition just in the middle here. You select in the middle just over here. Good. Now you can right click and say add 25 frames. So it will center half of it on the left, half of it on the right. You can now select your transition and go and decide you want to put it at the center of the edit, the start of the edit, or maybe at the end of the edit. You can also increase the size or decrease it on both sides. That's very interesting and very useful. So I will reset the transition. It goes back to 1 second, 24 frames. Here you are, you add the transitions on the videos. So now let's look at the audio. How can we add the transition? Also, if you come towards the edit point, you right click and say add 25 frames. You have the default transition. If you come to audio transition, it's the crossfade at 0 decibels. If you play it, now I don't know if you can hear it, but on your computer it should be very nice. Same for here, you can right click, 25 frames, you added the crossfade. So actually this is how you add transitions, and this is how you can edit the transitions. Later on in the course, we are going to make transitions a very complicated business, and I will show you how to create some very powerful transitions. Before starting to add titles, there is a small setting I would like you to do. It will help you to preview your titles and your transitions in real time. Now, if you come to playback here, you have the option of render cache. You have the option of not rendering cache at all, do it the smart way or the user way. The user way is defined by certain settings that we'll see later on in the course. But for now, I would like you to set the render cache to smart. When you set it to smart, it will decide where it has to render to get you a preview in real time. And then you start getting these blue lines here. It means you will be playing in real time. Now, how do you know that you're playing in real time? Look at the small circle over here. Okay, it's now grayed out because it's not playing. If you come to your timeline and press the space bar, you will notice that it will go to 25 and it is green. Our videos are in 25 frames per second. And since it's green, it means it's not skipping any frames. It's playing in real time. So please guys, go to playback and make sure that the render is set to smart. In the next lecture, we start adding some titles. In this lecture, guys, I want you to have fun with titles and lower third. And you will see how easy it is to add titles and lower thirds in Resolve 15. So let's start. Titles are added from the FX library, and I'm sure you already saw them. This is the titles here. You start with simple titles. These are text titles. And the one that have this kind of icons like a thunder, it means they are fusion titles. Some of them are very taxing on the system, but as soon as you render, they will be very beautiful. Let's start with a left lower third. You can choose a middle lower third or right one. So I'll start with the left. The way to add it to your timeline is to click and drag. Of course, don't drop it on your videos. That will not make sense. You will drop it on the track above. Notice how a new track, video 2, has been created when I just put it here. For example, you can drop it here or anywhere you want it to start appearing. I will drop it just after the transition. In your preview, you notice you have a title, the first line, and another title, second line. So you want to edit it. Very easy. Just select your clip and you go, of course, to the inspector. So the first one is title for the first text or the upper text. And if you scroll down with your mouse here, you will notice you will have another one, which is the title for the second line. So let's change here and let's write video editing in Resolve 15. Or actually, you can write any text you like. Have fun. Here you have all the settings for this title. It's like a word processor with certain positions and scaling and rotation if you like to. You can change the font I'm sure you already know that. You can change the size if you like. Okay, you can even come over here and type a figure. Here you are. Let's say 100 only. And of course, you have the tracking, meaning the spacing in between the characters. Okay, I will undo this one. That's cool. And of course, you have the font style, the uppercase, lowercase, whatever you like. And you have the position. You can position it, move it if you like to. Okay, on the X and the Y. That is if you want to. Usually, this is a nice position. You can also zoom it. That's like a scale. It's very easy. Here you are. For example, let's stop it over here. And then you have a rotation angle if you're interested to put a lower third with a rotation angle. I will undo this for simplicity. Cool. Now you have the second title or the second line here. Let's write, for example, by Jean-Loup. Or you can write your own name. Similar, you have also the way to change the fonts, and you have all the settings that you would like, and it's pretty easy to work with. So now that you put the text, you might want to have a drop shadow for the text. The drop shadow is already there. All you have to do is to offset it a bit. You can use the X offset, go easy on it. That's pretty cool. The Y offset if you like to. Okay, something like this, cool. And then notice it came on both lines here. Now you can add a background. That will be very interesting. The background is already there. All you have to do is to increase the size. Here you are. For example, I pull it over here. You can now center it on the Y if you want to, work on it very nicely. And then you can center it on the X that will be moving left or right. You have to go easy. It jumps very fast. That's cool like this. Unfortunately, I don't know why the second line will come behind the background, which is okay. It's fine for us now as a demonstration. You can play with the opacity and reduce it. Okay, that looks good. If you don't like this roundness just over here, you can decrease it. Okay, that's cool. And that's it. You have added a lower third that will play very nicely. Now, you remember, I want to exit, so it can give me this blue line before I play. Or you can try it several times, and the blue line will start appearing. This now is not in 25 frames per second. Okay, but it's creating it. Let's play it again from here. Still is dropping frames. Actually, I'm using a computer only with 8 GB here. I'm supposed to have a 16 or 32 GB. Cool. So that's our lower third here. But also you can do something else. If you want to animate it a bit, it will be very interesting to add a transition. I would add, for example, a video transition. You can add the simple cross dissolve. Here you are on this side. And you can add another cross dissolve on this side. I didn't show you the trim tool yet, but it's very easy to use. With your selection mode, you can come at the end here, and when it turns into this kind of bracket with left and right arrow, you can click and extend it, or shrink it to make it as long as you want. Here you are. Now it's becoming red again, and then if I play it, it's gonna go back to blue. Here you are. Cool, guys. Now let's say you want to add a title at the end of your timeline, at the end of the videos. Let's go to titles, and I'm gonna choose only the text just to show you. Click and drag and drop it, but now don't drop it on above, just drop it on the same video track. Notice it's snapping, and to edit it, you click on the text. Of course, you have only a single title with a drop shadow, stroke, and background. That's it. Okay, so you can add here, thank you for watching, for example. And as usual, you can change the font. I will go for Tahoma just over here. You can change the size if you like to. Okay, or make it bigger. And that's it. Of course, you can add some video transition. Let's take again the cross dissolve and just put it over here. Now, you cannot center the transition here because this text doesn't have handles. I'll explain to you later about the handles. But for now, it works. It's a lot of fun if you like. And let's put another one here. Let's go back to the beginning. Here you are. Pretty cool. It's running somehow smoothly. Maybe another pass will be better. But you have already created a full-fledged movie with some lower thirds, some titles, some transitions, and some music. You can extend the music if you like. Come to the end here. Just pull it just over here, for example. and you have a full movie. Now, in the next lecture, I want to show you how to create a video. The final step of video editing is, of course, to produce a video. And this is what you are going to do in this lecture. You are going to produce a video that is conformed to YouTube or Vimeo if you like to, and then later on you will be able to upload it on your channel and show every student your work. To create a video or to deliver, you'll jump to the deliver page. Here you are. The deliver page is very easy to use. First things first. On your timeline here, you notice you have an in and out point. This is the entire timeline. You can move the in and out point, and of course, you will be just producing for this portion from in and out. Not exactly what we want now. So let's put it to the entire timeline. So make sure the out point is at the end and the in point is at the beginning. You have here your clips. You can see them if you like to. Or if you come to the tabs over here, you can say, okay, I don't want to see them. I want to see the timeline. The most important here is the settings. Since you want to work on the settings, it will be interesting just to expand it here. You have here the custom settings. You have the H.264 master, you have YouTube, you have Vimeo, and you can export it to Final Cut Pro and stories like this. Let's stick to YouTube for now, but we don't want 1080p. We want 720p. This is the size of our videos for the course. So I will click on the arrow there, scroll down and go to 720p. Notice the file name came from the timeline name, which is first movie. Then you have to specify the location. If you go to browse, I'm going to just drop it on my desktop and that will be okay for me now to show you. Now you have three tabs here, one for the video, audio and file. For this lecture, we are going to stick to the most important. To export a video, you can use QuickTime. That's very fine if you are on the Mac. But it will be better to export it as MP4. The size will be smaller with the H.264. And the resolution is like we set it here, is 1280 by 720. Our frame rate is 25, nothing to change. The quality, you can restrict it to 10,000 kilobytes per second or make it automatic. This will affect the size of your video. If you find the size is too big, you can reduce it to medium or even high. Cool, I leave it to best, I'm okay with that. And the keyframing, this is about videos, leave it the way they are. Advanced settings, we'll see them later on. In the audio, you have practically nothing to change. It has picked the audio from the video. This is quite okay as default settings. In the file here, you will have a custom name or stories like this that you can change. For now, let's leave it. So we have set our basic settings. All we have to do now is to click on Add to Render Queue. And it comes as a job here. Of course, you can accumulate many jobs. And then the next thing is to start rendering. As simple as this. Start render. And here you are. It's going to start rendering. And the rendering is in progress. And it gives you a view of what is it rendering. At the end, you will have a perfect video. Cool. So now it has completed the render. All I have to do is to go to my desktop, double click to open the video that it has created. I will double click to make it on full screen and I'll play. Very nice video that you have created. Very good editing. And please guys, create your video, show off with your work, feel happy about it. It's not just about learning, it's also about executing something nice that you feel proud of. Your assignment for this section is to recreate this rough cut, go to the deliver page and produce a video, and you upload the video to YouTube or Vimeo if you like. So it's important that you do these assignments within the course. In every section, you will have one or more assignments to accomplish. These assignments will help you to cement the learning that you take in this section and also will lay the path for you to understand even more in the next sections. Now, you could use all the clips that you want to use. If you find them interesting, just use them. And feel free to extend the time, for example, to 30 seconds or even 1 minute. It's very important that you play so you get very familiar with the program. Now, the focus here is on the in and out point and to drop it in the timeline using, if you like, the append to end. or click and drag on the video and drop it in the timeline. If things go wrong with you and you don't like what's happening here, you don't like this clip, just select it and press backspace. Okay? I will explain to you how to remove clips from the timeline in the next section. So focus on setting the in and out point as best as possible. If you don't manage to create a good timeline that you like, it's okay. In the next section, I will show you how to import this project with this same timeline so you can follow along for the next section. Please guys, do your assignment, upload it to YouTube, and let us all see your work. Thank you. I will see you in the next section.